Morning guys. Today I just wanted to talk about the use of winter tyres. Should you fit them to your vehicle, and what are the benefits and cost and storage. So what exactly are winter tyres? Well, winter tyres are designed primarily to aid you in the snow, ice and wet conditions. I've been fitting them for the past 8 to 10 years now due to an accident that took place around that time frame. Cut long story short, it took me off the road for about nearly 3 months. Foolishly, after already being out in the snow, I went back out in the snow I was working, and I literally slid at very low speed into a curb, bust a wishbone and buckled a suspension leg. And since that day forward, every year on year I've fitted winter tyres, or snow tyres as they can be called. I'll do a video outside the vehicle in a moment. It will basically show you the sipes that are actually incorporated into the tread block, so then you know what a winter tyre looks like. And regardless of the ice and snow conditions, in the wet they are absolutely phenomenal. I run the Goodyear Ultra Grip 8 and 9 series. I have run these Dunlop Winter Sport 5s last year, and I'll be running them this year until I take delivery of my Leaf in the new year. And once the initial cost factor has been taken in consideration after your initial cost, so basically your initial first year you fit winter tyres, you'll have the added cost of a whole brand new set of tyres. They're comparable to normal summer tyres, so whatever you pay, whether they're budget or premium, they're going to be like for like in terms of that price point. Now, whether you're using summer tyres or winter tyres through the winter, you're still going to be wearing tyres, so the cost factor isn't as relevant as it appears, because like I say, if you kept your summer tyres on and run through the winter, you're still going to be wearing them, maybe at a slower rate because it might be wet, so there's less friction, but they'll still be wearing. So if you take your driving very seriously, and your safety of course, not to mention the fact that you could be, say, miles away from home working or visiting relatives, and you could be actually caught in the snow at that point. With winter tyres, if they're on the vehicle, you'll be able to get back home. Obviously if we don't have very deep snow anymore, thankfully, so on traditional British roads, say south of the border of Newcastle, I think you'll be fine. Now, as far as the water displacement concerned regarding winter tyres, this is where they are absolutely phenomenally good. If you're travelling on a carriageway where you've got sheet surface water, and you would actually feel the steering wheel slightly drift, as in aquaplaning, there's no sensation with winter tyres. They literally cut through water as if it's bone dry, and I'm not exaggerating, they are that good. They're better than even the best premium summer tyres in those conditions, especially at 10 degrees and below. So once you've done the initial cost factor of the first year, every second and third year, especially in the domestic market, in our industry, I was changing my winter tyres every third year. On the fronts. On the backs, they'd last 6 seasons. So great value for money, because you only put them on, I used to put mine on the first week in December and take them off at Easter. Once you take your tyres off your vehicle and put your summer tyres back on, there is a storage issue. I store mine in my shed out in the back garden. They say you're supposed to store them vertically. I stored mine upright on top of each other, stacked on top of each other. And my rares I ran for 6 years, and that was through the summer months as well, where it's probably 80-90 degrees in that shed in some parts of the summer in the UK. Didn't experience no cracking on the tyre walls, nothing. They drove perfectly again in the next winter regarding the winter conditions. Same grip in the wet, not a problem. My front sets I'd get 1 season and then 3/4 of the next season, and then I'd let them, say, get low, still legal obviously, and then what I would do is I'd actually throw those front sets away, and the next season buy another brand new set on the front. So every 2 years, with the miles we do, about 35-ish thousand miles a year, you'd only replace them every second year. So the costings after the first year is 2 tyres every 2 years, and every 5 or 6 years your rears. So the costings are kind of like nitpicking really. I know that there is extra costings involved, but they're not, for the amount of safety you get back on the vehicle. And actually talking about safety, you can actually go on YouTube and actually see demonstrations of these winter tyres in these wet conditions, and they're completely non-biased. Normally they're the heads of organisations that will actually take 4 individual tyres from 4 different dealerships that it can't be fixed, take them to the test track, fit them on his car or her car, and then they'll do these test runs, and it's absolutely phenomenal to watch on. You can actually look it on YouTube if you just search for winter tyre tests. So yeah, so the costings aren't that relevant for the safety involved. Sadly, on our insurance, on the taxi and private hire insurance, we can't actually get a discount. I don't know why. I've never been able to get a discount regarding the use of winter tyres. On the domestic market, some insurance companies will actually give you a discount because you're lowering the risk factor on your insurance policy. It makes complete sense. Now, as for driving in snow and icy conditions with winter tyres, on the ice you still have to drive sedately. They're not ice tyres. They give you better grip in icy conditions, but you still have to drive calmly, if you can see the ice, that is. The easiest way I can describe it, it feels like you've got control, but in you're slipping, but in a controlled manner. Whereas instead of, say, being your steering wheel won't do nothing, if you're going forward and you're braking, you're trying to turn, it will just, obviously your ABS will kick in, but it will literally, you won't be able to do nothing, you'll just keep sliding. With these, you can actually still steer on the ice, as long as you take it easy. So they're a great benefit for that, especially if you live out in the suburbs like where I do. In the snow, they are phenomenal. I actually got to test them in about 7 to 9 inches of snow about 2.5, 3 years ago, and they were amazing. I went up hills, down hills, adverse cambers. I even tried getting the car stuck in an industrial state where there was an adverse camber that went down and then kinked over a bit, so the car was a little bit skew with, and pulled straight out of it, no problem at all. Going down hills, braking, perfect. Going up hills, absolutely brilliant. So they are phenomenal in the snow if you do get caught out in the snow. Now, one thing you will have to bear in mind with snow tyres, and I wasn't aware of this, and this was made, I was made aware of this by my tyre fitter, is if it does snow, one thing you can't do when there's other motorists around you is drive normal. Although it sounds counterproductive, you can drive normal. Other motorists, especially south of Scotland, won't know you've got winter tyres fitted, and they'll just assume the roads have been gritted and you'll have grip, and they've got grip. You'll come up to a junction and you'll be able to brake normally, they won't, and they'll rear end you, which is obviously going to be not great, because obviously you've got winter tyres on, and the whole point of having a grip is try to avoid accidents. But it's just something to bear in mind, guys, if you're out there in them snowy conditions. If there's no one around, you can drive 30 to 40 miles an hour pretty much normal. I did it, and they drive fine. You can just brake normally. There's no drama, no fuss. They just brake and grip wherever you need it. What you can also do, guys, if you go onto the site, I believe is tyrereviews.com, it's a worldwide site, you can actually see everyone's input. They're not just summer tyres on this site, there's winter tyres, racing tyres like slicks and everything. And you'll get a varied amount of views regarding winter tyres, all the different brands as well, so you can get a comparison of what you feel actually suits your particular vehicle. Going back to costings, one thing I will say is that if you are on a very tight budget, the Nokian brand are absolutely brilliant. In the UK, they are priced a good £25 to £30 less than the premium winter tyres. and that might make the difference for you. But like I say, everyone's safety, people have different demands and needs that they need. Obviously with our job, we could be miles away, and I just want to know the fact that I can still get back home, or back to work if needs must on that. As for storing the winter tyres, what I do is after Easter I have the tyres taken off. Most tyre places charge between £10 and £15 every tyre to take them off, and then obviously put your summer tyres back on and rebalance those. I store mine in my shed vertically on top of each other. They do actually recommend storing them vertically on racks. Some places actually allow you to store them on site, so if you haven't got the facilities like in your back garden or in your house to store them, they will actually do that, obviously for a fee, because they are storing them. And then obviously the next season they'll charge you the same amount to put your winter tyres back on and take your summer tyres off, and either you store them back at home or you store them with them and then you pay that fee. As for different brands of winter tyres, like I say, Nokians are great. They're a well proven winter tyre up in the Scandinavian countries. I predominantly prefer to use Goodyear Ultra Grip 8 and 9 series. They may have even updated them now to 10s. In the wet, they're phenomenal, but they're all good. I have been using for the last season and this season Dunlop Winter Sport 5s. Now, winter tyres are made up of a special compound of rubbers and silica, and on the actual tread blocks, so on the individual tread blocks, are what's called sipes, and these combined with the special compound actually provide grip in conditions at 7 degrees and below, on ice, snow and in the wet conditions. So what I'll do now is I'll go outside and I'll actually show you a demonstration of actually what the sipes on the tread pattern actually looks like, and what to actually look for on the actual tyre wall of the designated snowflake icon, which is worldwide recognised as a winter tyre. Right, I don't know if this is actually going to be too windy outside, but let's have a look. Let's have a look at these winter tyres. So basically, let's have a quick look. Winter tyres are, and we can see that there's these little tiny sipes. I'll try and zoom in a little bit, and these things here, if it focuses, are the sipes. Yeah, I'll try and get in a bit closer. You can see them on the top. See, it's changing colour because my finger's actually making it, I think, but they're in the sipes there. And the snowflake icon you need to look for is there. So you can see it there. See, and that's the recognised winter tyre logo.